Hi, everybody. It's Erin again. And I'm so happy that you're here and welcome to the training or I guess recording of a workshop that I've done recently called Power of Visioning versus Planning. And it was so successful and lots of information that I thought I would come back and do a quick recording of all of the nuggets from that workshop that I captured in the notes so that you can use these tools for yourself. So just a little bit about this workshop or training video, I guess, if you will, is I'm going to start with, so the flow of it, I'm going to start with an opening thought-provoking question to kind of get you dreaming and in that headspace of dreaming and visioning. And then we're going to move into the content, which the key points of this workshop are why visioning is powerful and how it works, and the difference between visioning versus planning and the effect on results, which we are certainly results oriented, and then why create a vision board and its effects on your brain mapping. And then we're going to close with the 7 ingredients of effective dream visioning. And I also want to leave you with another thought-provoking question. I call these questions more journal prompts so that they can get you flowing. So maybe something to write about in your journal. And then I'll also tell you how you can work with me further and jump on the train with us for Fire and Flow Vision Board Workshop. So let's get started. So first off, here is the question. I'll give you a couple of seconds to write this out in your journal. If there were no limitations and anything was possible, what would your life look like? And by the way, I'm giving you permission to dream big. Are you giving yourself permission to dream big? I hope so. If you need to close your eyes for a few seconds and take some deep breaths, feel free to do that. So I'll read that question again. If there were no limitations and anything was possible, what would your life look like? Yeah, go ahead and take a second to write that down. Okay, so let's get into a couple of statistics that I think you'll find interesting. So studies show 83% never even think about their goals, which is interesting because we are goal-seeking human beings. Our brains are wired to go after something like a dog on a bone. That's how we're wired to go do that. So 83% never even think about their goals. Okay, there's more. So of those, the remaining people, 13% do not write their goals down. So they have them, but they're not writing them down. So only 3% do actually write their goals down. And then part of the 1%er crowd, 1% write and review on a regular basis. Those, my friends, are what we call the high achievers, the ones that have it all and are living that lifestyle that they have created. And, you know, here's what's so interesting about that, because we really are, our brains are wired to be goal seeking, but we have to give our brains or our whole brain, our whole being, our whole everything about us, a kind of an intention, a place to go. Otherwise, it's kind of like you're just imagine yourself, you know, at a dartboard. I always use this example, a dartboard, where you're just, you know, you want to hit that bullseye, but you're just shooting all over the place because you don't really know where it is. How do you know when you get there? You don't. You don't know when you get there. And if you don't set your own goals and intentions on where you want to go, most likely, or 100%, you are your goals are driven by what others think you should be doing and having for a goal rather than deliberately creating. And that's why this process is so important, because we are creators and we are goal seekers. And both of those things happen whether you're consciously aware of it or you're not. So the fun and the power and the personal power and is certainly in being deliberate about what you're creating. So that's a little bit of why visioning. Well, we haven't gotten into visioning. That's just basically how our brain works. So visioning, let's back it up to what visioning is. Visioning to me is really allowing yourself to get in that space of dreaming what's possible for you outside of just, the things you already are observing in your life. And, that takes a little bit of practice if you're not used to dreaming and expanding your vision of what's possible. Because again, our brains are kind of oriented to keep us in this safe space called the safe comfort zone, and it wants to keep us there. Although you control your own brain as a tool, so you can change your mind and you can direct it to where you want it to go by visioning and giving it, a kind of a destination, if you will. So visioning is really focusing and allowing yourself to get into that what if. What if I could have this or that or do this, be that? Whatever it is, like allowing yourself to get in this space of dreaming outside of what you see in your everyday life. And, it's let's say one of your things is you want a new house. Maybe you're living in something that is less than pleasing to you. So you would have to kind of dream outside of what you're actually looking at and really get yourself in that space. Well, easier said than done, right? Totally easier said than done. But that's what visualizing is. And visualizing, using your eyes to map the brain is one of the most powerful tools that we have, because your brain responds to pictures, not words, pictures. And so when you do visualizing or visioning and really, think outside of what you think you can have or think you can be, and really get into, oh man, I love this. I love that, and those a different level of vision. I call it visioning, dream visioning. We used to dream all the time when we were, little kids. When we were kids, we were dreaming all the time. And then somehow we got out of that, right? And started focusing on the goals and how we're going to get there and do the thing and that kind of thing. Okay, so next, well, I've talked a little bit about the difference between visioning and planning, but let me get into that a little bit more. Most of us are probably planners. We've got goals, maybe. 83% do not have goals, right? We already talked about that. But let's say we do have goals, and certainly your career or your business or whatever it is, you've got some idea of what you need to do to maintain at least where you are, right? And so we can call those goals. We can call that planning. So the difference between visioning and planning, see, planning is usually based on your past results, the limitations you've had before, the thinking you've had before, the results that you have achieved in the past using these planning methods. Maybe you're used to even incremental growth. Let's say you've got a business or you're in sales or something, and you're used to growing 1% every month or whatever so you've already kind of trained yourself and you're used to these things. We call all of that planning piece of it past. This is all the past. So you'll be basically restricted by what your brain already knows to be true about your past, the things that you're observing. And it's really hard to get past that piece of it without some effort when you're looking at the past, but thinking you're going forward. And so that's where the visioning comes in. Visioning allows you to take that step into, here's where you are right now, but this is where you want to be. That is all future-based. You're planning for the future, and you don't have to know how you're going to get there. That's not the exercise of visioning. The exercise is allowing your mind and your heart and all of you into experiencing and almost creating that desire and that longing and that want for it, because that's the fuel. That's your big what for. Some people call it a why, but I think it's too easy to get caught up in whys and hows. So I call it the what for. And so when you're visioning, you're crafting the future, and you start building and training your brain, as you're planning this future, to expect that that's going to be the new reality. And you're almost like expanding this comfort zone that is your brain's job to keep you in this comfort zone. You're starting to teach it to expand to some different levels, to where, your capacity to be with a higher level or more abundance or more of what you actually want and desire is higher now, because you're starting to look to the future and train your brain to go there instead of where you are now or were in the past. And that's huge. The results are exponential when you really get into that thinking of future oriented instead of past oriented. And there's lots of, statistics on how your brain works and processes information and how it processes time. And it doesn't know the difference between what's now, what's past, what's future. It's just a computer that you're almost plugging things into the computer, and it doesn't know that your future vision is not now. It thinks it is. So that is really the power of visioning versus planning. It's future focused versus past. And it takes out all of the how you're going to get there, because that comes as you start forward thinking. So the next thing I want to talk about is the power of creating vision boards. And I'm sure that, maybe some of you have done vision boards in the past. And of course, my version of vision board is called the Fire and Flow vision board, which takes a traditional vision board, but attaches it with an experience to make that mind-brain mapping even more powerful than ever before. Because not only is it attaching to the images, it's attaching to the experience and all the feelings and the emotions that you had, and you're actually creating new neuro pathways. So that's what we want. That's how you get into that future. So a vision board, to tell you the power of that, is, as I mentioned before, our minds, our brains are very visual oriented, not so word oriented, visual pictures. And then that evokes, those emotions and those feelings and all those things that create the neural pathways. That's what we want. So in a vision board, I'm sure that you guys know, you've got pictures on there that you inspire you, and maybe they're the exact things you want. Maybe they're the feelings you want. Maybe they're just inspirational to evoke those emotions and those feelings in your what for. maybe they're actual literal things like a car or a house or the things or relationship, or, you know, you want to have this kind of body shape and conditioning or whatever the case is. So those are the visual mapping that when you look at that, it's meant to inspire and almost, you know, I don't like the word trick because you're not tricking. Your brain doesn't know the difference. You're inputting data into your brain that your brain, your mind thinks that you already have these things, have these feelings. You're already doing these things. So that's the power of having this visualization that, you know, maybe you're hanging on your wall, looking at it daily. Maybe it's tucked away, doesn't matter. It gives your brain, which is goal seeking, it is looking for the thing that you want it. It's here to support you, wants to find or lead you to the things that you want, but it's got to know what those things are. So that's what the vision board does, a nice visual map of what it does. And then I promise it'll wake you up in the morning when you're looking at it and you're inspired to take those action steps that will help you move towards that direction. So that's really the power of the vision board. And then the fire and flow board, as I mentioned before, attaches the experience, because the experience in fire and flow is really, we focus on that self-care and honoring yourself, honoring your inner phoenix as you're creating this. So every time you look at those images, you're attaching the feeling you had when you picked that. When you put it on your board, you're attaching the emotions, the high energy, the vibration caught in the picture, in that experience, and all of that is mapping in your brain to even give you that bigger boost, that high level to where you want to go in the future. So that, I think I've covered everything on that. So let me go down real quick. You can just jot these down in your notes, and we'll talk. I'll just give you a sentence about it, but these are the 7 ingredients to effective dream visioning, okay? So number 1 is goals and dreams. And we've already talked about that at length, but you've got to tell your brain, you've got to tell the universe, you've got to tell every fiber of your being where you want to go. Otherwise, you will be going where others tell you they think you should be going. Because like I said in the beginning, where you're always creating, whether you know it or not, it's impossible not to. So if you're not deliberately choosing where you want to go and what you want to create, then you're creating by default where other people think you should be creating. So that is number 1, goals and dreams. Number 2 is intention. So we all know the power of intention and really setting that behind it. So you can say, you could attach that to a feeling too. So let's say you want a new car. You've got to attach to the new car your intention of, you know, I just want to feel like I have a convertible. So I want to feel the wind in my hair. I really want to experience the whole, oh my, you know, the nature of the thing. And I love it when the leaves are falling off the tree and into my car. So set an intention that is, you know, how that having this thing, being this thing, doing this thing will resonate throughout your soul. And that is so powerful. All right, so that's number 2 is intention. Number 3 is visualization. So we've talked about this a little bit, but it's like you're looking at your vision board and you're really walking yourself kind of in your mind. It's just a couple of seconds about what that looks like, imagining yourself, you know, being these things, and imagine yourself, you know, all these things in your future are here right now. And that's really what visualization is. And there's so much more to it, but it can be as simple as just that. And then number 4 is your beliefs. And that's where the getting your beliefs that you believe that you can have and do be these things. It's a little bit more complicated, but that's where you're remapping your brain and teaching your brain that, since it doesn't know the difference, you're just inputting the data into your beliefs. And some of those things, if they're long-standing things that need healing or looking at, certainly we could talk about that. But number 4 is beliefs. Number 5 is declarations, or more commonly known as affirmations. But declarations to me are way more powerful. They're not just you're saying something to yourself over and over and over again. I'm gonna make lots of money, I'm gonna make lots of money, whatever the case is, and you don't really believe that. So all that has to be in alignment. So I call it declarations, which is way more powerful. And then number 6 is meditation. So meditation is a great way to detach from old programming and connect to your inner self, your inner being, and begin to remap the energy and get into alignment. And then number 7 is positive action. Of course, nothing's, no one's going to knock on your door and deliver you a card. They could. So don't hold me to that. But it usually takes some positive action. That's usually what we have in our brain as a pattern. And then number 8 is gratitude, and just being thankful for where you have. So that also shows your brain and the universe that you are almost collapsing time. The past, the now, the future is all one right now, and you're thankful for it. So I'll run through those 8 steps again really quickly since I was talking. Number 1 is goals and dreams. Number 2 is intention. Number 3 is visualization. Number 4 is beliefs. Number 5 is affirmations. Number 6 is meditation. Number 7 is positive action. Number 8 is gratitude. And all of this is, hugely powerful in bringing what you want into reality and manifesting it. And all of these places, you guys know what all these words are, all the 8 steps are places for you to look to make it even more powerful. And then I'm going to leave you with your second journal prompt for today. What beliefs or things would I need to let go of in order to let the new in? So what beliefs or things would I need to let go of in order to let the new in? And I always say, kind of picture cleaning out a closet. Like if you want some new clothes kind of thing, imagine you've got to clean out the old stuff because you've got a packed closet and to bring in the new stuff. So think about that. I'll read it one more time. What beliefs or things would I need to let go of in order to let the new in? Okay. Well, I am so happy you guys were here and you're listening to this training. I have so much more. Obviously, I'm trying to keep it to where, it's digestible in one training session. And I'm really excited that you guys are learning about the power of dreaming and dreaming big and pushing past your what you thought was a limitation in this infinite world of possibility, in the quantum world of whatever you want can be. And so again, don't forget that I've got the 2 programs running right now, Fire and Flow Vision Board Workshop, as well as Phoenix Rising, which is my 4-month program to really take your Fire and Flow board and take it to the next level, results oriented. Let's get this done. Truly transformational, truly luxurious, fun, exciting adventure. And so thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.